Item 3.3, discuss the 66th Street Road Project. Jason? Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners, Junior Commissioner.
It's like, that's me.
Well, I'm going to give a quick update over the 66th Street project that's been ongoing for a while now. Project, if we remind you, it's about 0.7 miles or a little less than 3/4 of a mile of 66th Street from Willow up north towards Breckenridge Road. The project was broken into 2 phases so that funding would be available. Both phases are approximately about 1,700 foot long, and the project's basically consisting of concrete roadway and ditch work. There's kind of an overall picture of the 2 areas that are under construction. Right now, phase 1 is I think the number I saw was 90-something% is where we're at on that project. We lack about 100 foot of concrete and some ditch work along the phase 1 part of the project. Phase 2 will be putting forth the change order for that part of the project coming in, I believe it's the next commission meeting for you guys to consider. There's a couple before shots of the roadway out there. This was the one on the left there was part of the road there just north of the Willow intersection. Not really for sure where the other one's at. Here's a couple action shots of the work that's going on. As I mentioned, it's 10 inches of concrete over a stabilized base, so it's a very stout and sturdy roadway. Being built that way so that it continue to handle the windmill trucks that travel across up in that area. There's a couple after shots. One there on the left. One there on the left. They're done with the roadway, but they haven't got the ditches done. And this is the other part where they've got the ditches basically done. You can see there. But so this portion is basically fully complete. The next phase of the project, as I mentioned, phase 2 is just like this one, about 1,700 feet. Contract time on it is 105 days. So 66th Street will remain closed throughout that portion of time while that work goes on. But I have a good feeling that the contractor has gotten their legs under them, and they'll be able to move much more efficient on the second phase of the project. That's all I had. Any questions?
Jason, do you mind going back to that first map you had where you showed phase 2? I just wanted to be clear. I'm sure most of the folks, if not everybody, understands that red box line doesn't go all the way to Breckenridge, but that's because it goes to where the concrete was already laid and good.
That's correct, yes.
From a previous effort by, I think, a requirement for a contractor or a business that used to be located there.
Mm-hmm. That's right, yeah. It's about the same length. This project, or this section of roadway is pretty much broken up into third mile pieces. So that the northern part's already done. It's right around a third of a mile too, so 1,700 feet.
So it's my understanding that the reason that we did that in 2 phases and it took part of 2 years is the funding, right? Mm-hmm. We needed to appropriate half of it last year's budget, mm-hmm. and then the rest of it in this year's budget.
Correct.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So, okay, that's what I thought. Just dollars, right?
That's right. Dollars and cents.
That funding come from the TIF.
Yes, sir.
For the laydown yard.
Okay. Does that portion come from the TIF as well?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, that was the new added on portion for the TIF, and that was what was written up into that contract.
Right.
Yeah.
Which that's really what made it possible. And
That's exactly
Commissioner Saragusa, who was the
say.
TIF chairman, understood and helped get done is, although 66 has been bad forever, I remember one of your predecessors, a couple commissioners back, Commissioner Tim,
Commissioner Tim
had wanted to get this done. It was And it takes time, and the primary problem was money.
It was over a decade ago was when he first requested it.
And I will say, to be frank, it never, from my perspective or the commission's perspective, hit the priority to get done until we had a funding source. So that was good to get that. Otherwise, it might not get done. But it's exciting because the school system I know, and there's a bus driver I know that can't wait till it's done and they can drive that road.
Yeah.
Well, they were going 4 miles out of the way from their rural pickups to get back to the school because of 66.
Yeah, just because it was so rough. Yep.
Because it's so rough and it was beating their buses up and everything else. So 4 miles was cheaper for the fuel than it was for the fixing of the buses coming down 66. So
Yeah, and it's also a pretty cool deal because it creates that connection from 412 up to Breckenridge Road. That's all very nice paved roadway all the way up there.
And all that goes right by our new industrial park, if I remember correctly, am I
right.
right? Yeah. So, all right. Any other questions or concerns or? All right. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it.